Subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon, to never miss a video from us. Hi everyone, welcome to Test Prep Training. In this video you will learn about some commonly asked questions in designing and implementing an Azure AI solution, AI-100. So let's get started. Question number 1. You are designing an AI solution that will analyze millions of pictures. You need to recommend a solution for storing the pictures. The solution must minimize costs. Which storage solution should you recommend? Your options are A. An Azure Data Lake Store, B. Azure File Storage, C. Azure Blob Storage, D. Azure Table Storage. The correct answer is option C. And, here's the explanation of the answer. Question number 2. You are configuring data persistence for a Microsoft Bot Framework application. The application requires a structured NoSQL cloud data store. You need to identify a storage solution for the application. The solution must minimize costs. What should you identify? Your options are A. Azure Blob Storage, B. Azure Cosmos DB, C. Azure HD Insight, D. Azure Table Storage. The correct answer is option D. You can refer the following for the explanation of the answer. Question number 3. You have an Azure machine learning model that is deployed to a web service. You plan to publish the web service by using the name ml.conso.com. You need to recommend a solution to ensure that access to the web service is encrypted. Which 3 actions should you recommend? Each correct answer presents part of the solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Your options are A. Generate a shared access signature, B. Obtain an SSL certificate, C. Add a deployment slot, D. Update the web service, E. Update DNS, F. Create an Azure Key Vault. The correct answers are option B, D, and E. You can refer the following for the explanation of the answer. Question number 4. Your company recently deployed several hardware devices that contain sensors. The sensors generate new data on an hourly basis. The data generated is stored on premises and retained for several years. During the past 2 months, the sensors generated 300 gigabytes of data. You plan to move the data to Azure and then perform advanced analytics on the data. You need to recommend an Azure storage solution for the data. Which storage solution should you recommend? Your options are A. Azure Q Storage, B. Azure Cosmos DB, C. Azure Blob Storage, D. Azure SQL Database. The correct answer is option C. Question number 5. You plan to design an application that will use data from Azure Data Lake, and perform sentiment analysis by using Azure machine learning algorithms. The developers of the application use a mix of Windows and Linux-based environments. The developers contribute to shared GitHub repositories. You need all the developers to use the same tool to develop the application. What is the best tool to use? More than one answer choice may achieve the goal. Your options are A. Microsoft Visual Studio Code, B. Azure Notebooks, C. Azure Machine Learning Studio, D. Microsoft Visual Studio. The correct answer is option C. Question number 6. You have several AI applications that use an Azure Kubernetes Service, AKS, cluster. The cluster supports a maximum of 32 nodes. You discover that occasionally and unpredictably, the application requires more than 32 nodes. You need to recommend a solution to handle the unpredictable application load. Which scaling method should you recommend? Your options are A. Horizontal pod autoscaler, B. Cluster autoscaler, C. Manual scaling, D. Azure Container Instances. The correct answer is option B. You can refer the following for the explanation of the answer. Question number 7. You deploy an infrastructure for a big data workload. You need to run Azure HD Insight and Microsoft Machine Learning Server. You plan to set the RevoScaler compute contexts to run RX function calls in parallel. What are 3 compute contexts that you can use for Machine Learning Server? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Your options are A. SQL, B. Spark, C. Local Parallel, D. Base, E. Local Sequential. The correct answers are option A, B, and C. You can refer the following for the explanation of the answer. Question number 8. Your company has 1,000 AI developers who are responsible for provisioning environments in Azure. You need to control the type, size, and location of the resources that the developers can provision. What should you use? Your options are A. Azure Key Vault, B. Azure Service Principals, C. Azure Managed Identities, D. Azure Security Center, E. Azure Policy. The correct answer is option B. You can refer the following for the explanation of the answer. Question number 9. You are designing an AI solution in Azure that will perform image classification. You need to identify which processing platform will provide you with the ability to update the logic over time. The solution must have the lowest latency for inferencing without having to batch. Which compute target should you identify? Your options are A. Graphics Processing Units, B. Field Programmable Gate Arrays, C. Central Processing Units, D. Application-Specific Integrated Circuits. The correct answer is option B. You can refer the following for the explanation of the answer. Question number 10. You have a solution that runs on a 5-node Azure Kubernetes service cluster. The cluster uses an N-series virtual machine. An Azure Batch AI process runs once a day and rarely on demand. You need to recommend a solution to maintain the cluster configuration when the cluster is not in use. The solution must not incur any compute costs. What should you include in the recommendation? Your options are A. Downscale the cluster to 1 node, B. Downscale the cluster to 0 nodes, C. Delete the cluster. The correct answer is option A. For more such videos, subscribe to our channel.